To most of you, Ravi was a preacher, teacher, evangelist, and apologist. To me, he was all those. And in addition, he was an amazing brother. What Ravi demonstrated to me was what God was capable of taking one person who was totally committed to honoring and serving him. There was a pivotal time in Ravi's life when he survived a failed suicide attempt at the age of 17. While he was in his hospital bed, somebody gave him a Bible, and our mother read to him, and he committed his life to Jesus Christ. That started 57 years of travel around the globe where he preached the gospel. While Ravi traveled almost 200 days a year, his amazing wife Margie, of 48 years, raised 3 beautiful children, Sarah, Naomi, and Nathan. So Margie, on behalf of RZIM, we want to thank you for all that you have done for the ministry. But more importantly, Margie, thank you for sharing Ravi with the world. God, in his infinite wisdom, thought the best way to train Ravi for the ministry was to bring the mission field into his home by making me his roommate. At the time Ravi was studying at Ontario Bible College, I was an undergraduate at the University of Toronto, hoping for a career in medicine. Every day, Ravi would get up 1 hour before our departure time. He would get dressed, have his devotions, and make multiple trips upstairs to wake me up. Invariably, we left late. In the first half of our journey to work, he would say to me, "Ramesh, you frustrate me. You have to get some discipline in your life." The second half of the trip, he'd apologize to me, saying, "I'm so sorry to admonish you, because I truly believe that you actually have potential if you could only get focused." So when I got into medical school, there was nobody more excited about it than Ravi, only to find out years later his main interest was that I would give him free medical advice. Ravi had many remarkable qualities. First, Ravi was incredibly committed to God. As a young man, my mother would have to bribe him with candy to even read a single page. When God got a hold of him, he developed such an incredible appetite to study and read everything.
It's your private practice and what difference reading has made.
Yeah, what comes to my mind is just almost playing off something that you said. I think I came to Christ genuinely as a young man, about age 7. Grew up in a Christian home. My father and mother led me to faith in Christ. Growing up, all I wanted to do was play football, basketball, baseball, run track, work out.
Not ultimate frisbee.
Not ultimate frisbee, right. My father was a professor in medical school. My brother is a professor in medical school. My mother was valedictorian of her class. My sister has been a school teacher of honor for years and years and years and years. And then there was me. And I can remember, and I went to one of the smartest high schools there was. And all my classmates went to Harvard and Yale and Princeton and MIT and Rice and Vanderbilt and places like that. And I'm just drowning in all of this. My father was very upset with me that I wasn't a reader, I wasn't a student. He grew up in abject poverty, and everything that he became in life was a result of education. He became a PhD and made something of his life by God's grace through education, and I wanted nothing to do with it, which just frustrated him to no end. I got a football scholarship, went off and played football in college. Really had no desire to study. Went to law school, had no desire to study, which is kind of a deadly combination.
Must have been studying. Were you cheating?
No, I I didn't graduate. I took a leave of absence, and interestingly enough, worked for the last man to beat George W. Bush in a political race. But then God called me to preach. And it was like I was saved all over again. And God gave me a voracious appetite. And a little bit like you with that tag that you were describing, in college, I was just thrown into gospel preaching and the opportunity to preach and to stand on my feet and to get in my car and drive places and just proclaim Christ to groups that would invite me and that it was made available to me. And I just began to read and read and read, and it was so unnatural for me because I had never done that. And just to fast forward to a couple of years ago, my father is a very brilliant man. He's gone to be with the Lord now, but he walked into my study and saw all of these books and looked over at me, and he literally said, "Surely there is a God in heaven." Just my son, the student. That is such a supernatural thing for God to do that. That is not me. That is just God at work within me.